to the growth of our dear country Nigeria. But today we're going to be looking at the security sector, and this is against the backdrop of the airstrike mistake recorded in Sokoto State on Wednesday. So what was meant to be a Merry Christmas, ended up being a tragic event for a number of people in Sokoto State, and it is indeed a very disturbing trend. And the moment this actually made its way to the front pages of Nigerian newspapers, Nigerians, of course, having chewing on it with concerns coming from different quarters as to why this may have happened. And according to some Nigerians, this is not the first time that this is happening. But as we speak, the latest update from this particular story is the fact that the military has now apportioned the blame on the villagers. At the same time, a probe has already been demanded or ordered in this regard, and we're actually waiting for the outcome of the investigation. But we'd like to tinker with this pending the outcome of that investigation, and I've got a security consultant and strategist with me in the studios this morning, the person of Dr. Steve Okori. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Compliments of the season.
Yeah, same to you.
My name is Omoife Semere, and just to give a quick background, that Nigeria has been combating insurgency and terrorism in the northeastern part of the country, particularly against Boko Haram. Now, airstrikes have been a crucial component of the military's counterinsurgency operations. However, there have been reports of airstrike mistakes resulting in civilian casualties and damage to infrastructure. The most recent incident occurred in Sokoto, where an airstrike killed 10 villagers. Now, the airstrike in Sokoto, just so you know, was intended to target a group of bandits, but unfortunately, the villagers were mistakenly identified as the target. The incident has sparked widespread concern and outrage, highlighting the need for greater precision and accountability in military operations. The Nigerian military has been criticized for its handling of airstrikes, particularly in the northeastern part of the country. Well, in 2017, according to reports, a Nigerian Air Force airstrike on a displaced persons camp in Rana, Borno State killed about 100 civilians, right? And we saw also on the front page of Nigerian newspapers this morning where a survivor actually, recounted his experience, and according to him, he watched his parents, burn to death, and it is really, really very disturbing. But taking a look at the blame game, how justified really is the stand of the military? Blaming the villagers, somewhat for being, responsible for this, tragic, event. But let's start a conversation this way with Dr. Steve Okori. First of all, help us get a sense of what airstrike mistake is and what exactly are the technicalities surrounding it.
Yeah, thank you for having me to give my perspective on this very worrisome incident that happened that took the lives of about 10 civilians, innocent civilians. And my heart goes to the families of the deceased and to the Sokoto State government as well, because it happened in Sokoto. Now, what happened for me was an error. Well, what it means is that the information or the intelligence was wrongly interpreted. Yeah, because...
wrongly interpreted by who?
Yes, by the authorities in charge, as in the Air Force Authority.
Okay.
Yes, if it was not wrongly interpreted, would have had casualties of innocent people that were going about their lawful businesses and all that, and they were caught up in such tragedy. Now, this is a damage, it's a collateral damage, and in an operations like this, in the warfare operations, you expect this kind of damage to happen. But in as much as you expect this kind of damage to happen, it doesn't mean that it's not avoidable. And in as much as we expect this kind of damage to happen, we must ensure that the principal target, that's the actual target, the person that you're looking for, if they actually got the person, and we saw these fatalities around, it would have been better ahead. But from my findings, I don't even think that the actual person that they were looking for was also caught in alongside the people that were killed. you know. But right now, what the military is doing, or precisely the Air Force, I think they are trying to see how to save their face.
Okay.
Yeah, because they must have to put up what we are seeing today, or right now, blaming the villagers and all that. But the villagers themselves, what do you expect? These are some persons that came to see how to have infiltrated their community that are living with them. And it is not for them to begin to see them and assume that they are criminal elements.
But we also understand that some of these villagers were the ones that contracted, these insurgents to come to Nigeria to help them fight, the insurgents within. So somehow the military may be right for maintaining its stance, by putting the blame on the villagers.
Yes. Yeah, you don't blame the military completely. And also, when a system is there, you have the government, you have the federal, state, and local government, and they are not providing security for the citizens of the country, which is, of course, their primary responsibility.
Right.
It's a constitutional thing. Section 14(2)(b) says the primary responsibility of government is provision of security. You must have to provide security for the citizens. We're not even talking of welfare yet. We're just talking about security. Nigerians are not even worried about their welfare. They are thinking that they could let us have security in place for us to go about our local businesses, go to our farms, go to our market square and sell our produce that we provide, that we get from our farms and all that. But the security is not there. So what do you expect them to do? They are thinking of another alternative. These are communities where bandits come, levy them a lot of taxes, hold them hostage. They paid millions of naira, to get their freedom. Then an opportunity came for them to say, okay, let us see how we can provide our own security. The government is not providing security for the citizens of this country. You and I that are sitting in your studio right now, do you have security?
Do you really think that is the case? That the federal government is not providing adequate security, or there are unscrupulous elements, hell bent on sabotaging the effort of the government?
A whole lot is wrong. The fact that we have some elements that are sabotaging the efforts of government, even within the security sector. Yes, there are bad eggs. Every system we find bad eggs, we have bad eggs. But I see that we don't have enough. When you call the police to your studio now, they will tell you that we don't have enough manpower. They will tell you there are challenges. When you call the military, they will tell you that this is it, this is that. But because they are in service, they won't be very free, to express themselves because they are working under a particular government. But we that are private security consultants, that we engage these people, right? They tell us of their challenges.
But quite frankly, we're not hearing this, some of these challenges, just like you've highlighted, we're not hearing them for the first time.
Yeah.
But will it be right to say that the federal government is deliberately turning a blind eye to some of these challenges?
No, the government is not turning blind eye on the challenges.
But the federal government is overwhelmed.
Would they agree that they're overwhelmed? Okay, we can see from the current budget that we have, the previous budget before this 2025, the previous one was 3-point-something trillion. Right now we have 4.91 trillion. Right, so it means that the federal government are trying their best to provide these funds for the defense and security of the nation and of the citizens.
And security always takes the large or the largest chunk
Absolutely.
of the allocation.
Yes, because security anywhere in the world is not cheap. It's not a cheap venture to see how to curtail the excesses of what the country is experiencing. We have issues of terrorism, we have issues of banditry, we have issues of kidnapping, we have issues of armed robbery, we have a whole lot of issues. Right now, kidnapping is at its peak, right? Do you know why? Because terrorists have also become kidnappers. Bandits also kidnap. Kidnappers themselves that are into kidnapping. These are different angles to the security. They are also kidnapping. Armed robbers have also left robbery because when you go into armed robbery, it's more risky compared to kidnapping.
How do you mean?
If you want to rob, for instance, now, armed robbers get to the road. They don't know the vehicles that are coming.
Right.
Whether they are police officers, whether they are military and all that. But it takes them a longer period of time to stay on the road while they see how to rob passengers of their valuables and all that. But kidnappers, the moment they stop a vehicle, they harness whoever they want to harness from the vehicle and straight into the bush. And
is it possible that they work with credible intelligence as well? Before they get their victim?
The kidnappers?
Yes.
There's this allegation that they work with some bad eggs that are in the police. right? I listened to a kidnapped victim on Armed Forces radio, where she said that they were returning from Lagos or so. They got to a checkpoint around somewhere around Okene, and the police held them there for like 1 hour 30 minutes. That they saw somebody or some boys with laptops in their bags and all that. And the moment they left the checkpoint, not up to 2 minutes,
They got robbed.
yes, not robbed, they got kidnapped.
Oh.
You understand? And the lady, I listened to her on Armed Forces radio, and she was convinced that the reason why they had them was because they were in touch with the kidnappers and tried to let them know when to come to the road. Because they just left the checkpoint 2 minutes away and they got kidnapped. You
Well,
know? So
people,
about that allegations,
Yeah.
you know, but I right, even in the, what do you call it, in River State, some police officers, when the current CP in Abuja was in Rivers, police officers were arrested with relation to kidnapping activities. In Akwa Ibom State, some police officers have been sentenced to death by hanging related to kidnapping activities.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, people have different perceptions, you know, with regards to the Nigeria, you know, police force. But we just had to digress. But coming back home, I mean, to the crux of the issue is the fact that the defense minister, you know, just a few days before this tragic incident happened in Sokoto State, he said, Lakrawa terrorists, you know, they've been given a run for their money. They have been dislodged. I'd like to quote him verbatim. He said that Nigeria is now free of the new terror group, Lakrawa, saying the sect had been chased out of the country, and he made the assertion while addressing journalists at his residence in Gusau, the capital of Zamfara. He also dismissed the report by the Commissioner of Police in the state, Mohammed Shehu Dalijan, who had alleged that Lakrawa terrorists were responsible for the explosive devices that killed several people in the state a few weeks ago. But now, to even how do you even begin to juxtapose, you know, the comments made by Bello Matawale, and then a few days later you're going to, you know, carry out, you know, an airstrike that, you know, ended up killing innocent civilians in the state?
You see, there's a huge difference when you engage a politician and when you engage a professional.
Okay.
Yes, Bello Matawale is a politician. For me, that's a political statement he has made. Yeah, I think he made that statement just to say how to keep his job or to make the president and whoever believe that he's working. What did he rely on? What credible information or intelligence did he rely on for him to make that kind of statement? And you see, I hate it. I hate to hear when I hear conflicting stories.
Statements.
Yes, when it has to do with security. You know, because you make the citizens lose confidence in whatever you are doing. You know, you are giving them hope. The other way around, another statement is and it's making them confused. You know, so my worry is that we have allowed politics to see how to dominate issues bordering on security. Right. Security, I think, is in as much as we need professionals to get involved in it, we should avoid certain comments or statements that will make it look political. And I'm worried about this hasty to get to the media, right? Is there any need for that? Now, there was a time that the president gave the Bello Matawale marching orders to see how to fish out Bello Truji in somewhere around that axis, northwest. And you think that the Bello Truji does not listen or watch television, or his aides or whatever don't listen to radio. I did my PhD thesis on kidnapping for ransom.
Okay.
I was privileged to interview some kidnappers in this country. I was privileged to interview victims of kidnapping for ransom. And a victim told me that somebody kept him in Kaduna, one forest. The kidnappers had radio in that forest. They were listening to everything that was happening in this country.
They are very much abreast.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to use this opportunity to advise our law enforcement agencies that quick approach to the media. Let us hear of the success stories after succeeding in their operations. You want to carry out an operation, I want to carry out an exercise, you go to the media, you announce it, and you expect these criminals to wait for you there. It's not possible. It's just like me being attacked by armed robbers in my house. Then I call the police. then the police begin to come to my house. Instead of coming in a clandestine way or a covert way, they begin to come with a siren. You think they will meet armed robbers anymore?
But in this case, I mean, this airstrike that happened in Sokoto, there was no prior notice, was there?
No, you see, there was no prior notice, yes. But it was an intelligence, which was okay. But the question I want to ask is, how well do we now harness the benefits that comes with technology? In carrying out that, we expect that technology would have been at its peak, the usage of technology. We're in the 21st century.
Right.
Now, there are devices that when you are up there, you can use your camera and zoom, whether day or night. It will be very clear. You can zoom and see that whoever you are looking for, you must have gotten the features of the target you are looking for. Once you zoom, you can see that, okay, the target is amongst the people that you are looking for. Once you can establish that, there's a way there are weapons that you can use from up there, and you get the exact target, even in the midst of 100 persons.
So the precision in this case wasn't accurate.
It wasn't accurate.
But could that be as a result of maybe the technology or the equipment they have, they're not sophisticated enough?
That's the point.
So who takes the blame for that?
The government. Yes, sir. It's the government. And you see, it's the government, and you see this our over-dependence or reliance on military defense military equipment. We don't produce anything here. The ones that we won't get from outside the shores of this country, how well are they trained in the usage? That's another question. Do we go for the one that is sophisticated, the one that is approved for you to get, or you go for a low standard one? These are questions we need to ask. But we are in this part of the world that anything that has to do with the military, the police, our law enforcement, we don't investigate how they use the monies to buy all these things.
When it comes to training, I mean, our personnel on how to use this, sophisticated gadget, would you recommend some sort of maybe international collaboration or cooperation?
Absolutely.
Will that help in any way?
Why not? We produce these things, we don't. So where were countries that produce that we go to procure them from? We expect our people to be trained in its UG. Like, look at the one that happened in the Kaduna State, the military drone that was wrongly interpreted, that Nigerians that were going about their festive period, celebrating one of those Islamic stuff. Over 80 persons were killed as a result of wrong interpretation, human error. You are saddled the responsibilities of protecting Nigerians. You're not supposed to be taking out lives like chicken. That's how they die now. So why should we continue to find ourselves in this kind of situation where people are doing the things that are not right using technology? Meanwhile, in this country, we saw where bandits, the very last Ramadan fast that they had, bandits gathered in Zamfara, a prayer ground. They said their prayers. Are you telling me that the military were not aware? So why did they go to apply the drone or the plane airstrike mistakenly there? That would not have taken away a large number of bandits. In Katsina, they gather to pray. And that's why we are worried that these people, when I meet these people, are the people that are saddled the responsibilities of protecting our citizens and defending the state. They know what they need to do, and they are refusing to do it.
No, but the fact that these insurgents are actually scattered abroad, these communities, it makes it quite a Herculean task for these security personnel, to unleash, terror on them.
No, I disagree. Well, you see, when people are held accountable for their failure, then we'll begin to get it right. Do we have people of integrity that are saddled with the responsibility of carrying out the tasks that they are meant for, or their responsibilities? We have what is called the Community Policing Initiative by the police. What's the essence of that? It's for the police to have that constant interaction with members of our communities. I have said it times without number that we don't have presence of security in our rural communities, because these are the places where most of these attacks happen. How well are the police in contact with these communities? When you interact with them, you build that confidence that when they see something, They don't have any option rather than to say something, right? Who do they now approach to say, okay, we are suspecting certain persons that we are seeing in our communities. But in this part of the world, when you tell the police something, the informants get targeted by the people that they want to report them to the police.
You think that's the case, or the locals are not even willing to share?
It's also part of it. Despite that, there are a whole lot of challenges there. One of them also is that there's no security presence in our rural communities. So once these guys come, they instill fear into them. Right? If you say, we'll kill you, and if they tell you that and you turn around, you don't even can't find a vigilante. So what will you now do? So most of them live in fear, ignorance, lack of education. These are the reasons. How well are we educating our people? So a whole lot is wrong. Is the government ready? Is the military, the police, and the other law enforcement agencies, are they ready? Are they serious? These are the issues. Lakorawa is not, they're not Nigerians. Are you saying that the immigration doesn't have intelligence? Or they didn't have intelligence to be able to know that some foreigners came into Nigeria fomenting trouble? All these security agencies have their mandates clearly spelled out in either the act or the constitution that established them. How well are they living up to expectation? So these are the issues. We saw contraband of arms and ammunition come into this country. Before they took off from the country they were coming from, what did the customs do about it? Until they landed in Nigeria and they were being ferried into wherever they were taking them to. We need to live up to our responsibilities as security agencies. As much as we complain, although they are trying, but we should see more of that.
All right. Well, can we really learn from, this unfortunate incident that happened in Sokoto on Christmas? Because especially knowing that this is not the first time that, we are recording these airstrike mistakes.
Are we learning? It happened in Nasarawa. The Air Force denied it. At some point, they agreed. It happened in Kaduna. It happened in Borno. It has happened in Sokoto. So for how long shall we keep having these mistakes? Right. It's technology. If you apply it the way you are supposed to apply it, you won't see this. So I think they need more trainings, so that we can avoid some of these mistakes.
Okay, this morning on Eagles Outlook, we are discussing, the implication, right? The implication of airstrike mistakes on Nigeria's, a security architecture, and this is against the backdrop of, the unfortunate incident that happened in Sokoto State on Christmas Day, where a number of civilians, got killed as a result of, an airstrike mistake. And I've been discussing with Dr. Steve Okori. He is a security consultant and strategist. You can also be part of the conversation by calling us on 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 090-9705-4450. Hello, good morning.
Good morning once again.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Edward.
All right, Honorable Edward, please go ahead.
Yeah. I actually appreciate our guest. He is a true citizen of this country, for saying the truth. He said, what I'm so love of him, he said, he happened in Kaduna, he happened in so state. He has mentioned the state. Of course, he made a mistake, not mentioning that their state, Benue State. He happened in Benue State too. He happened in Nasarawa State too. For how long are we going to continue with this? Imagine if our land is no longer valuable to our government. A big part of government does not mean that we will not say the truth. I want to repeat this. On Christmas Day, you don't expect people to gather in one place because we are having a terrorist problem in Zamfara State, or in Sokoto State, or in Benue State, or in Nasarawa State. What was their intelligence survey? They need to not just give you bag of rice or 20 million or 100. They need to answer us. The security has the answer. They have a question to answer. I expect our National Assembly to work. Of course, we have a weak, I can say this without no fear. I've got it to it, I'll be honest to Nigerians. You see that you're telling me the truth is that those people will deliberately kill him. If they were not, how can this continue? Everything this must be a full stop. What the one that happened for the past? Who do have the responsibility to this? That's not the same people. Why these people kidnap, hide people in the. Do you know that if I should make a call now against anybody in government, I will be arrested? These people contact kidnappers directly. Kidnappers contact the victims' family. All those things. They pay ransom. Why is it that they not be arrested? If they listen to radios and all those, they are presented. Does it mean they cannot be tracked? Where are we? We need to move forward. Government is not serious about what is happening. It's life. How many people imagine you want your father die that way? Your parents die. How will you feel? This is a hard time for us to stop. Government should tell us why they kill these people. This should be the last killing. You can't be killing people like that.
All right.
Budget money. Yeah, I'm listening.
Now, I'd like you to wrap up your thoughts, Honorable Edward, so we can take, other calls too.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Edward from Apple. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Sorry?
I said he sounds a thief, man.
He's actually from Benue State. Okay, so the numbers to call are still 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044 are the numbers to call. You can send a voice note or a message to 090-9705-4450. To even think that this mistake, was deliberately orchestrated by the federal government is a bit disturbing, but I'll let you react to that in a bit. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, this is Jude. I'm calling from Spain.
I didn't get your name. Could you please come again with your name?
Jude.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to really appreciate the guys for the program established. It's interesting and for the allies, for the general public to know what's actually going on. See, I just want to give an advice to the people of Nigeria and to our president and various governors of the various states. You see, this issue of security starts from individual homes. One, when individuals don't start speaking from themselves, so they can't explain the government. So the government is being blamed, individual citizens are also being blamed. Because most people notice these things and they keep quiet. That being afraid of something will happen or they speak out or identify with so person that they will be caught or they will be left, But we don't need to. In a system of government, when the general public needs to be addressed, these things are not supposed to be needed. The issue that happen now is simple. I think it's our time to start making use of technology. There are devices now, just like our guest center. There are devices that should be initiated. There are devices that can tackle this thing easily.
All right.
You understand? There are cameras, let me know your information on there,
Okay.
There are things that you can also do to guide this country that will make even an ant will never come in. But I think our government are only focusing on some other things. They are leaving the main focus of their duty, which is the security aspect. Let me give you an instance. I will take it from the scripture now. Okay, in the case of Eden, when God posted two angels, but no person to go to the garden again. So, can you ever figure, has there anybody since that time come into that garden? No, because there has been standby security there.
Okay.
So I think it's that time that our government, our president, need to look into what is causing this problem. Is it the citizens? Is it that they are not doing their jobs? Providing this intelligence, training, the technology needed for the security to be fully armed? It's that time our government need to look into all these things.
Okay.
So I really appreciate the program this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chooks, for your line of thoughts and also bringing in, the reference from the Bible this morning. You could actually pass for a pastor, one would say. We'll go pay some bills, and when we come back, you can trust that the studio lines will still be open for you to call in to share your thoughts on this very topical issue. Do join us again.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
The management of Abuja Property Development Company (APDC) wishes her esteemed customers and clients a joyous Christmas. We appreciate your continued trust in our services and look forward to another year of mutual growth and success. May your holidays be filled with joy, happiness, and prosperity. We are poised to deliver top quality construction, real estate, and facilities management for the satisfaction of our customers in the coming year. Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025. Signed, Management, Abuja Property Development Company (APDC). APDC, still creating value.
I don't need no liquor. I'm intoxicated by you.
My country people, who work is supposed to enjoy you after all the hustle. You not supposed to take your comfort play to fit sleep the way it's supposed to be. Make you go grab a your Eurofoam mattress. Make you forget your full comfort. Whether na Euro Spring, Euro Orthopedic, or semi-orthopedic, Diamond and Diamond Plus. And for Comfort Pro Max, Eurofoam don't introduce latest in town. That na Euro Elite. This one, they sleep jolly meant no get equal. Eurofoam get quality pillows and sheetings. Eurofoam shop yakpa everywhere for Bodo Nigeria. Eurofoam, sleep the way.
3 Abuja.
ilimi babban abu ne gunmu shi zai kankan ya mutuncinmu.
A kowane karni a kowace irin al'umma da ilimi ake tinka. Yanzu fa tazarar tana kokarin ta kai tazara.
Musamman mu 'ya'ya mata da a wannan zamani ya kamata a cusa mu makaranta. Sai aka bar mu da yawon gararan ba da tallace-tallace.
Ashe kaga ya zama haƙƙi ga iyaye da kowa mai hanin jinka.
Mu tabbatar da ana cusa yara makaranta.
Su samu natijar ilimi su daidaita da zamanin su.
Kuma zamanin su ya tinkaho da su. Amma rashin sa yaran a makarantar ya jawo an mana tazara a kowace harka ta rayuwa.
A Najeriya kimanin yara sama da miliyan 20 ba sa makaranta.
Har ma masu kididdiga suka ce miliyan 8 a kudu, miliyan 12 a arewa. Shi yasa hukumar ilimin bai ɗaya ta ƙasa wato UBEC ta ce
mai kafada da kafadar tunani wajen cusa yara makaranta.
Domin gadon ilimi ya fi gadon dukiya.
Wannan sako ne daga hukumar ilimin bai ɗaya ta ƙasa wato UBEC.
Himma da ƙwazo ƙoƙarin mushinku jama'a kiran mu nake bisa dagewa.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is Eagles Outlook, live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, your radio experience you can count on. And on the program this morning, we are looking at the implication of airstrike mistakes on Nigeria's security. And I've been speaking with a security consultant and strategist, Dr. Steve Okwori. The studio lines are actually open. You can call in to share your thoughts as to what you make of the topic of discussion this morning on the program. But please do it to stay civil, avoid the use of vulgar language. The numbers to call are 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 090-9705-4450. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning to you. Yes.
Good morning, my friend.
Yes, good morning. Yes, what's your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, okay, my name.
Okay, I'm afraid I have to let you go. Please do the needful, and we'll be glad to accommodate your views on the show. All right, thank you very much. We have a message right here on the WhatsApp portal from Abbas. Abbas reporting from Dutse says, good morning, Omoefe and the security expert. I think what the military is lacking is ground intelligence surveillance team. It is obvious that our military does not have men or persons on ground in these locations before carrying out these airstrikes. Ground teams are the people who give the pilot direct precision on where to strike, locations of the terrorists if they have left or not. Furthermore, let our military try to use undercover personnel in villages of high terrorist concern so they don't keep making similar mistakes over and over again. Abbas reporting from Dutse, thank you so much for your viewpoint right there. And then this one, Abdul Majid Yusuf from 3rd Avenue, Gwarimpa, Abuja says, good morning. The security should do thorough investigation, and again, the community too should stop hiding or harboring criminals in their communities. Thank you so much for that message. So let's hear from you. I think before I let my guest in, to react to some of your messages and the viewpoints that have been expressed, I'd like to head on to the Facebook, page where we are also streaming this program, and also on YouTube. Just so you know, please hurry now to YouTube and Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja, so you can also monitor the conversation. Abdul Majid Tijani Yusuf, okay, he actually dropped a message also on the Facebook page. It says, "This is collateral damage, not intentionally. The security cannot just go there without some information. Bandits are staying in that area, and majority of these areas and the same community will not speak up or report to security agencies." Abdul Majid, thank you for that message as well. All right, so coming back to you now, Dr. Steve, this is indeed very, very disturbing. And again, the question would be whether or not we're going to learn, any lesson or lessons, as it were, from this unfortunate incident. So we don't come back sometime, in the future to come, discuss this issue again, because it becomes very, very disturbing and quite tiring, to hear one thing over and over again. But in terms of, civilian protection, what strategies would you suggest, to the military personnel and, of course, the relevant stakeholders when it comes to the war or the fight against insurgency, in terms of, protecting civilians from the effects of these airstrikes in Nigeria?
Yeah, some time ago, the Chief of Defense Staff talked about the fight against insecurity, that the military has, or the law enforcement agencies has just 30%.
Okay.
Yeah, the use of force, 30%. It means that about 70% is left for the civilian population. What I mean, the civilian population, I will have other critical stakeholders in the fight against insecurity. Don't forget that the civilian population are also security managers. Our law enforcement agents are not ghosts. It's not possible for us to find them in every part of the country, in every community. And that's why the operatives must see the civilian population as also partners in the fight against insecurity. We have religious leaders. Religious leaders are, most times they know they are subjects that are bad.
I'm sorry to disrupt your thought pattern, but can we take this call? Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, this is Julius calling from Implication.
Julius, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, what I want to say about this, although the mistake have been made, but the civilians living around those areas, I think there must be a surveillance before any strike like this, because they have surveyed that area and know that there are bandits and maybe this swap living around there. But the funniest thing about this, you see some of these civilians who are seeing, some of them are harboring them. Yeah, the way these people are living among them, they will not speak out. Not that because maybe they are forcing them not to speak out, but because some of them are in support of these things happening over there. That's the reason why you see something like this happen. You will not blame the ministry, you will not blame them, because they have surveyed that area and they know something like this is going on. That's the reason why they strike there.
All right.
So, I don't see it as something like a mistake or something. There must be something before any airstrike.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julius. Thank you very much. All right.
So, as I was saying, we have traditional rulers in virtually all our communities, right? From the clans to
the villages
and all that.
Yeah.
And they know their soldiers that are bad, and they have the opportunity to know when intruders come in, when strangers come into their community
Okay.
because they've lived amongst themselves for a period of time. So when they see a strange person, they must know that a stranger has entered their community, right? So these communities that this Lakorawa terrorist group came into, the traditional heads, the chiefs of these communities would have had the opportunity to say to the police that we are seeing strangers in our communities, right? But look at the way Amana they came. They came first as some sort of to provide security for the communities and all that. They've been there for like a period of time, like 6 years, before they eventually carried out the heinous act on the people. Now, traditional rulers have roles to play. Religious leaders also have roles to play because at the end of this, we see where these guys go to the mosques. We see where Christians go to the church. Let us try to see how to talk to their conscience. In the period that you are talking to their conscience, we'll see that some of them might change, right? So religious leaders, traditional rulers, professional security consultants, the ordinary Nigerians that are there that live in these communities, we all have roles to play. And that is why the CDS said 70% is for the other side. Why they have 30%? Let
But
us have a
70%
government.
is a lot.
It's not a lot. If we have a government, the government is also part of the 70%. Government has promised Nigerians a whole lot. Are we seeing the dividends of democracy? Government, as I speak now, is not about, as I'm talking, it's not about the federal government alone. I'm talking also about the state and the local government.
Yes.
Are they providing these dividends of democracy? Do we have citizens in this country that can afford the basic survival needs? The basic food, shelter. We have a whole lot of them that are there, and they cannot afford these things. And when terrorist groups come, lure them, induce them with certain amount of money, and they see that what they are giving to them will solve part of their problems, and you think they won't jump at it? They will definitely jump at it. Poverty is one of the triggers. Unemployment is one of the triggers, right? So government has a whole lot to do in what we are talking about. It is not about the law enforcement agencies alone. They cannot use kinetic approach, but the government can use a more kinetic approach by providing the basic needs of these people. How well are they providing it? We have a lot of manifestos when they are aspiring for offices. You see juicy contents in their manifesto. Like that's what the federal government, for instance. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I saw his manifesto. He talked about where he will improve communication and our surveillance equipment.
But security has actually improved under his watch, right?
Oh, really?
Now I'm asking.
In the last 1 year of his administration, do you know how much was paid as ransom in this country? And that has been the highest. You didn't hear of the MBS report?
I'll let you hold your thoughts again. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello. Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please, it's Jude calling back again.
All right, welcome back. Please, you have a minute this time.
Yeah, I forgot to make emphasis on something. See, I think one thing I think our government should start professionalizing is that they should try to provide electricity. Even in our various local villages, there are things they can do. Provide solar light, provide electricity, provide CCTV cameras, so that at least when this cameras, there are constant electricity and good roads, I think these things won't be easy for the families to hide anyway. It won't be easy for them.
Okay.
But when everywhere we are up in the black situation, everywhere is black, we can't see what's going on. You understand?
All right.
So please, let's not talk to the government. We should provide us electricity, full electricity, at least solar system and CCTV cameras.
Okay.
So that these things can be easily seen by the chief security authorities.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that should also be a wake-up call, or this should also be a wake-up call to Nigerians. I mean, the ones that are fond of vandalizing these infrastructure. Whilst it's okay for, the relevant stakeholders to provide light almost at all times of the day, lighting up every community is indeed very important, because you said something that when these people go to the mosque to pray or when they go to church to pray, they see them, but our people will move at night. So when the whole place is dark, how are you going to identify who This message here on the WhatsApp portal, Yusuf from Wusetu says, "Good morning, Omoife and your guest. My heart goes to the victims of the bombing in Sokoto by our military. This is coming on the heels of denial of the allegations of subversion made by the president of Niger Republic against our president and top security chiefs. The president of Niger alleged that Nigeria is in connivance with France in aiding Lakurawa and ISWAP to establish a base in a forest in Sokoto State." All right. Yusuf, I'll just have to, pause right there, right? Because you're just trying to divide our attention this morning. Stay on the topic of discussion. It's very, very important. The implication of airstrike mistakes on Nigeria's security. That is the topic of discussion this morning. So back to you, Dr. Steve.
Yeah, okay, we're talking about the last 1 year of the MPS report.
Right.
Yeah, from May last year to April this year. That's 1 year of this administration. And it was established that 2.23 trillion was paid as ransom. And it's a fact. Nigerians pay heavily for ransom in this country. Communities are held hostage. They pay money in hundreds of millions of naira. There's crowdfunding now. Communities come together to say how to pay money. Individuals pay money. Groups pay money. And I told you here that terrorists have become kidnappers. Bandits are also kidnapping. Kidnappers are also robbers are also kidnapping. They need these funds to sustain themselves, right? Because they use it to buy weapons to expand their network. Now they are also aware that when these funds are transferred or wired from one bank to another, they will have the NFIU there and the EFCC that can establish that these funds were funds to finance terrorism. Now they have derived a path where they have this cash. You can't trace it. So when they collect this ransom from innocent Nigerians, they use it to sustain themselves.
But it has also been alleged that there are people, elite, allegation though,
yes,
sponsoring these, terrorists.
Absolutely. Now, and that's the problem.
So those ones sponsoring them, why can't those, the financial inflow, why can't it be tracked or traced?
That's another thing that we're talking about. Are we serious? Are we ready to fight this fight against insecurity? Don't forget that during the reign or the regime of the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, a list of sponsors of kidnappers, the terrorism, came from Dubai. About 12 to 13 names. People that are resident in Nigeria here, they have companies registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So it makes it difficult for NFIU and EFCC to clearly establish, except they are well trained to be able to establish that these funds are illegitimate funds. Because we have legitimate and illegitimate funds. If I do my business and I earn profit and I decide to send my profit to an account where it's used to finance terrorism, how will they know? So there's a lot that we need to do. There's some collaboration, synergy amongst the banks that we have, the NFIU, EFCC, and also the supervising bank, which is the CBN, because a whole lot of we are dealing with human beings here. They can decide to turn the other way, just for their personal interest and gains that they stand to benefit from all this. I said there was this victim of kidnapping for ransom that I also interviewed during my PhD. He told me that when they kept them, at some point they told them that they should lie down, face ground and all that, that somebody now came. That happens to be their sponsor. That the man came, that the perfume that came alongside with the man, you know that this person has a lot of money. Then he was opportune to see the man's leg in his palm sandal. And the thing was looking very fresh. So we have people that are living amongst us that are sponsoring these people. I've interviewed kidnappers where they said they collected 50 million naira as ransom and 300,000 was what was given to them. So where did the bulk money go?
All right, let's see if we can take a listen to this voice notes that we have on here.
Hello, good morning, Omoife. My name is Temple from Central Area.
Right.
Omoife, these happenings are becoming somehow. How can the military people, according to what I've heard this morning, this bombing has happened in Nasarawa, it has happened in Benue, it has happened in Niger, it has happened in Borno, it has also happened in Kaduna State, and now Sokoto. Is it that these military people are not well trained, or Are they deliberately doing this? This is not nice and must be investigated. And the people that are responsible brought to book, because this cannot continue happening. Before you know it now, the citizens will start seeing the people who should protect them, the security men, as also enemies. And that is not acceptable. We need to put a stop to this once and for all. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you so much, Temple, for that voice note. Well, our time is actually fast spent, but I really wish we could, continue this conversation. But at this juncture, I'll just have you make your submission and hinge it on accountability and transparency in such a way that maybe some sort of mechanism, should be put in place, right, to ensure accountability and transparency in airstrike operations in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think that they have said they are going to probe, investigate, and come up with a report. But the previous incidents of the same manner, did any have come out from anywhere?
But it's even more disturbing that the military is insisting that it would not take any responsibility.
No. It's the wrong thing to do. If the state government has got to compensate the families with about 20 million, giving them some bags of rice and all that.
Why is it always rice, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I think they think they are chickens. Sorry to say. But the fact is, the government has established that, yes, the chief security officer of the state, which happens to be the governor, has accepted that lives were lost, innocent people, and all. I think what the military needs to do is just to tender an apology. They tendered an apology when they did it in Kaduna and other places that they did. Now, people should be held accountable. Let it be clear that they were punished, as a result of their error or mistake. You understand? Because, yes, in as much as the place is a place where there was a lot of suspicion based on intelligence, the terrorists were there, it's not a guarantee that we should go and take the lives of 10 innocent people where a child of a victim saw where the father, mother, and all that got bombed. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. Now, when the accurate, exact, I said it, when you get to the target, the exact target, there are devices that you can use. We have the resources to procure those devices.
Right.
Yeah. So government should look into that. Training and retraining of our personnel, which is key.
Right.
Then people should be punished when they do wrong, and people should be rewarded when they do what is right.
All right. Well, I'm afraid we just have to leave the conversation here, but it continues. Go right onto Facebook and YouTube and leave a comment, and we definitely would acknowledge, your thoughts right there. We've been discussing the implication of airstrike mistakes on Nigeria's security, and I've been discussing with Dr. Steve Okori, a security consultant and strategist. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
And to each and every one of you who called in this morning, those who sent messages and even voice note, thank you also for spending part of your time with us and also sharing your thoughts. I'd like to state very clearly that the views expressed on the show this morning by the guests and also contributors were not influenced by Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. I am Omohefe Peace Osemere, and I'll be back with the business news.
Eagles